So we get ready for the next matchup tonight. It's a team that's a former champion versus a team that were the former new kids on the block from last season. Welcome back to the WGLNA. I'm Joshua Gray.
And I'm Randall Holcomb. Now, SIMP, RBIS, of course, we've talked about this a few times earlier, but SIMP looks so strong right now. And RBIS, I don't know what your take on RBIS is, but I feel that RBIS looks good, but not as polished.
RBIS only has one loss this season. That loss was against Top Tier, a team that we just saw versus Noel and take the win. Their wins were up against Victoria's Secret, Elevate, Simple Tankers, and Penguin Mafia. So the Simple Tankers matchup is the most significant victory for RBIS, and they've been carrying that torch of third place from last season in the end, taking home prize money. So they're sitting right behind Simp and the Cunninghams. They're in a really good spot. And with tonight's matchup, it can go really two ways when it comes to the anxiety before they fight. Either, man, we've beat them once before, we've got to do it again, we've got to do it to get a better spot. Or it's, hey, this is going to be a tough team, probably our toughest matchup throughout the entire season, but look at how well we're doing already. Let's do our best and don't think about anything else.
Or knowing RBIS, hey guys, we got a match tonight.
Oh, yeah. Are we going to have enough people?
Yeah, do we need Jackie? Is Jackie going to be there?
We have a lot of people that have shown up tonight to watch our show. So let us know how you're enjoying World of Tanks on Twitter at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA, and use that hashtag WGLNA so we can find your tweets and put them up on the broadcast.
And we do have a very specific request to everyone on Twitter and Facebook, which is send us your questions for Ute, the commissioner of the Gold League. We have Talking Tanks this Thursday. We want to see what you guys want to know. We're going to pose a few of those good questions to him, see what his responses are. I'm sure there's some interesting stuff there.
We're going to have the two team representatives joining us in the face-off in just a little bit here. Let's talk a little bit more about SIMP. Undefeated against Top Tier, Noble, Victoria's Secret, Penguin Mafia, and Hammer Time. The undefeated streak continues, but can they get revenge against a team that beat them in the playoffs from last season? And that's the question tonight as we jump into the face-off with our two team representatives. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, hello.
All right. Amanda Hug and Kiss, a.k.a. Jackie Rudo. Let's start with you for RBIS with the Never Forget Endo. I like it in the background, man. Well done. Well done. For you never forget. That's right. For RBIS, with the other team members that were on the team last season, you're a new addition this season. Is it a bit of a anxious roller coaster fighting a team that you guys beat in the playoffs, or is this just another match for RBIS tonight?
Well, I personally didn't beat SIMP, but those guys seem fairly confident we can do well against SIMP. As I guess maybe you guys previously mentioned that we are heated rivals, so to say. So we just hope that we have a good game and perform well.
All right, well, you guys have been performing well so far throughout the season. Is this the hardest matchup for you for the entire regular season, would you say, for your team?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The SIMP is undefeated, and, they have plenty of experience. We know going back 4 seasons that they are one of the top teams in North America, and, we got to face up, got to live up to the challenge.
All right, good to hear from you, Jackie, a.k.a. Amanda Hug and Kiss. So many names. All right, let's check in with your opponents tonight. We got Laps holding 3 colored pencils. What's the story behind the pencils, Laps?
Oh, I think I might try and draw something offensive to remember the Charlie victims with, but maybe a nipple or something. We'll find out later. Go France. No, we're here to play tanks. Don't mean to make light of that, but we're taking it pretty serious this week. RBIS is it's some tough competition. They're shoot from the hip, so it's dangerous to know what might come up.
Has your team approached this matchup tonight differently compared to the other matchups?
Certainly. You watch the replays, and there's more of a wild element here that we have to deal with. So, we're going to be chasing after them in a controlled fashion, but it's a lot of the other teams, they've got patterns of behavior. RBIS, heck, I don't know if they practice. You can't even do any spy work and figure out what they're doing during practice. It's all hush hush and unpredictable.
Now I want to ask about SIMP attacking on steps. That's going to be one of your maps. You guys are 7 wins, 3 losses, I think there. but generally, you guys seem very defense-oriented, or at least you seem very competent on defense as opposed to your offense. What can we attribute that to on steps in particular? Your results.
I think the thing that we have a strength in is the map control, and steps has so many interactions on it that it's in our favor because we were able to figure out which part of the maps have things lit. We're able to gain a lot more information. So I wouldn't necessarily say that we like defending as much as we like the map control. Knowing where everything's at.
Okay.
Laps, any words for your opponents before we start?
Well, I always need a man to hug and kiss, but no additional words. Best of luck.
All right. Any words, RBIS?
No, we're just looking for a good game, and personally, I really enjoy fighting Simp every time. And since I have a long history with the Simp guys, and let me just cut to what I really feel about this match. That's how I really feel.
Wow. That's Fej, member of
Yep.
Simp, hugging Jackie Rudos.
Fej-
I am a man to hug and kiss.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you on the battlefield. Good luck.
Jazz
Thank you.
hands.
Oh gosh, more jazz hands.
More jazz hands.
More jazz hands.
Thanks, Laps. He was watching Zombie Food, so now it's going to be a competition on the jazz hands between those two teams. As a reminder, our finals are going to be happening March 15th in San Francisco. The prize pool is $171,000. It's what these teams are playing for. You want to be there. It's at the Folsom Street Foundry in San Francisco. Beautiful location, downtown San Fran. I love that city. I really do. I really love San Fran.
The only regret is that I wore a hat which was damaged by the rain. That's my only regret.
It's a keepsake now. It's a keepsake.
It does. It actually hangs on my wall, and I'm like, that's San Francisco.
Well, you may not be wearing a hat on Thursday, and that's where we're having Talking Tanks. We're going to be live 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, normal time that we broadcast, except it's going to be an hour-long show. We're going to have some special guests, and we also are going to take some of your questions that we're going to ask you, which is a question of the day today. So send us those questions via Facebook or Twitter. We're almost ready for the matchup. Randall, let's go ahead and take a look at the rosters for these two teams here.
Gladly. Okay, so that last picture you saw was Fej, listed as number 3 for Simp right now. He's an amazing hugger, as you could see in that image, with Amanda Hug and Kiss, also known as Jackie Rudo. I'm really looking forward to the moment in this match when the two of them just kind of ram each other with their tanks.
Gotcha.
Just to kind of reenact that moment in the tank world.
Well, this is it, folks. One of the biggest matchups we're going to have this season. RBIS, third place from last year. Simp, champion in the past in the WGLNA. What do we have for tanks, Randall?
All right. RBIS, starting as the blue team, will have a single T-32, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and a single T-37 played by Precam. On the other side, Simp will be bringing something similar. 2 T-32s, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, single T-37. So you've got that solid center control with the T-32s. You can flex around with your light tanks.
Give you an update on the I Love Lamp versus Cunningham's matchup that's happening right now. I Love Lamp is up 4-3 against the Cunninghams.
Wow. That's something you guys are going to have to head off to the fantasy site to really look at.
Check out those replays as well. Simp needing to redeem themselves from the last session. Coming from Asatuck on Twitter. Thanks for the tweet, man. I'm sure Simp's maybe sweating 1 or 2 more bullets than usual up against RBIS, but nothing they can't handle.
I think Jazz Hands tells me that they feel confident.
Gotcha.
There's no sweat there. Only the sweat of exerting your fingers for quite that long.
If you're not sweating doing jazz hands, you're not doing it right. Crimson Corsair Nidroxus and the T-32s leading the attackers here. Simp looking for a possible opening. There's one against Carbon Ward for 229 damage.
He looks to the left just in time for the shot to come from the right.
Yep. That's how it's done. A lot of frontal armor on the turret of a T-32. 298 millimeters of armor, if I'm correct.
Also well angled so that it actually is effectively more, depending on which way you're looking at it.
You count the gun mantlet as well.
Oh, yep, that adds a little bit.
Yes, it does. And he's going to continue to fire back as the rest of his teammates from RBIS are huddled in the center section close to the train tracks.
Plink. One shell going right off the turret. Can't even see where it hit.
Well, The Drox is going to fall back. Crimson Corsair staying in the same position. No real big push coming from the attackers, but the defenders are going to move into the enemy territory and try to get behind these T-32s.
Don't know about this one. This seems very risky to go in like this. They're going to pay a lot, but they have found Crimson, and Crimson taken down almost all the way. There he goes, and that's going to be an early kill, but for quite a few hit points, they're not ahead even with that kill, and they're down to 5,000 hit points total.
But they have map control in the northern section, and now they're starting to move into the defilades further to the south to avoid the fire coming from SIMP. But Adroxus is holding his ground as long as he can in that T-32. He finally falls, but at what cost, Randall? 3 tanks are down for RBIS.
Yeah, they lost momentum very quickly. They're approaching an opponent who's getting to sit still, focus their shots, make them count. And while they did get a lead by killing those T-32s, those weren't the major damage dealers. They would have been towards the end, but there wasn't a real advantage for RBIS, and now they don't have enough hit points to play with. They're actually literally half of their opponent's hit points and a little bit less now.
MacG continues to fire from a distance in that T-37. Oh, he tracks Carbon Ward. And Carbon Ward's going to shift his turret over to fire back at MacG, and then back to the more clear and present danger. But MacG's continuing to fire at that T-32. He bounces a shot, takes a hit for 260. He's still a thorn in the side of Carbon Ward. Fej trying to take down Sella. He gets it, but Mi Amigo trades fire and is able to clean him up. 2 tanks against 3. RBIS, as the defenders, are now down to 1 tank with 28 hit points left. And MacG finally gets the kill in the T-37 from long range. And SIMP takes battle number 1 as the attackers on Prohorovka.
That went as it should. That was a crazy attack by RBIS. Out of nowhere, I can see what they were going for, which is the element of surprise.
Yes.
That's it. Your opponent is not expecting you to pull something like that. But the main issue with this is Fej was able to scout it, so was Crimson Corsair. SIMP was able to adjust, as they always have, to this kind of an attack. And while it does start off strong, it lost momentum within the first 30, 45 seconds.
Did they focus too much on Adroxus?
That's
Amigo and Carbon Ward, I mean, they were doing a couple of shots against them. They finally get the kill, but do you go for the 1390 Blue Boys captain rather than the T-32 in that situation?
Ideally, but Blue Boys was so far away. You had to go for the target which was right there in front of you. You can't afford to continue going past this opponent, not deal with it, and then try to go for Blue Boys. Blue Boys could have just ran away. You could have just left, and those T-32s are free to deal as much damage as they would like. It's a situation where RBIS, while, yeah, they did something cool, SIMP was in such a lineup that their approach was not beneficial to RBIS very much.
Yeah. Well, and also trying to deal with it, and there's a lot of things to deal with. They're juggling 3 or 4 different avenues of attack as the attacker, or as the defenders, actually. And then MacG and the T-37 just shooting away, waiting for one to land, and they finally do to take down the T-32. When you have that amount of options that is harassing your enemy at once, you're doing something right. Teams in the Silver League or the Bronze League or the Open League need to take notes on how SIMP is adjusting to this type of aggression for the defenders. Maybe a different story here for RBIS in battle number 2. What do we have for tanks?
All right. No big changes. Single T-32 played by Carbon Ward, Amanda and Mi Amigo in 1390s, Gabriel Ox in 251, so is Sella, and then Prechem again in that T-37. SIMP, much the same. Adroxus and Crim, again in T-32s, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and a T-37 by Mac yet again. So hopefully RBIS doesn't try something crazy like that again, but playing a standard lineup, I don't know if that'll go well. SIMP plays a competent attack on Prohorovka. They know this map very well. And with Gabriel Andros making the mid-scout, we have a little spotting, but Fej able to make a solid connection into Gabriel for 219.
Absolute Royal takes a hit to the side, and he's going to dance back and forth a little bit in his scout run. Crimson Corsair and Adroxus and the T-32s will push up to cover.
Ah, that reminds me. Now SIMP with Absolute Royal has 2 scouts, Blue Boys and Absolute. So on Prohorovka, Steps, that kind of thing, they've got 2 players who specialize in a role and have the freedom to be able to play that role on most maps while having the competence and skill to adopt any other tank, like a 5100 or an IS-3.
Shots fired from Sella.
Ooh, Carbon Ward's down already.
Yeah, first tank was down from Carbon Ward. I was looking where exactly Sella was trying to target, either Crimson Corsair or the tanks to his rear, like Blue Boy's Captain or Adroxus. But that leads a big opening for Simp with Carbon Ward down.
Yeah, Carbon shouldn't have been crossing like that. I mean, neither of us were watching because it made no sense for that to be happening. It was too early. There was not enough cover. There was no real distraction. He crossed out in the open against Simp's southern attacking position, where they spend the first portion of the map waiting for their opponent to spread out and kind of stretch to meet their boundaries. And then they just make a counter, and it's working.
Blue Boys and Fej over to the south, looking for any type of openings again to this very, very low Precambrian, and they could go up and over, and they are. They see Precambrian, they miss a shot, Fej and the RU-251, it looks like.
But this could be a mistake from Simp. Fej is rather cut off. There's plenty of support fire, and Fej will go down just as the rest of Simp is nearing this. But both Precam and Carbon are down. It's more tanks on the battlefield, more hit points, though, for Simp by over 1,500.
Heavy 20 peeked up for a second on the railroad tracks, was able to dodge one shot, and still sees Ox Mathis down there, who has been weakened very slightly. But as soon as I said that, he takes a hit for 490. Enough time for Heavy 20 to move in for the kill, but he doesn't want to sacrifice himself too much if his teammates up to the north can get it, and they do in the T-32. That's going to leave Heavy 20 open to get some long-range fire towards the east.
And Amanda Hug and Kiss just going straight at Absolute. Royal Gabriel coming in to clean it up. Amanda getting the kill in Absolute, and now Mac G will go down to Amanda. That is two good pickups for RBIS, showing that they still have a fight in this.
2v1 for Mi Amigo. Hopefully he'll have a fight and be able to dodge these shots. So it takes one for 244. Trying to get away, fires back. Looks like that shot didn't go in. Another shot coming out of Heavy 20. That's a miss against Mi Amigo, but Blue Boy's Captain is ready for the kill.
This is going a little long.
Wow, Mi Amigo takes on Heavy 20.
What?
Blue Boy's Captain could be out of shells here, and now he's on the run for Mi Amigo. Mi Amigo gets behind him, takes a shot, 539.
You've got to be
Mi Amigo, one shot away from taking down Blue Boy's Captain, but I think he's out of shells. I think they're both out. Blue Boy's Captain's going to be loaded first here.
Not unless they drown each other? I don't even know. How did this just occur? That is mind-blowing.
Mi Amigo dancing back and forth. Blue Boy's Captain should be loaded by now, and he gets the kill. It's 2 against 3 in favor of Simp with 3 minutes left.
But the Gabriel is healthy. Sella, while at 50 hit points, is still he's not damaged much at all. He's set up for combat. And
1,004 hit points divide Simp and RBIS right now in favor of Simp.
It's not a lot. That's plenty of damage for the RU-251s, and they have time on their side. They stay alive, they kill Blue Boys, and they play around Crimson and Adroxus. That's RBIS being able to hold this one. Simp needs to... I like this, actually. Okay, this is what they need to do exactly. Adroxus on the high ground, so you can't have any sneaky business from those RUs, or that there's someone able to at least respond to that. However, Adroxus is very exposed, and because you've got good spotting from the two members of RBIS, there was one shell, one good connection. If they're able to take out Adroxus and Blue Boys, Crimson is rather healthy. He's not the target you go for. Maybe one shell HE into him just to get that reset, but you've got a minute and 19 to play with that.
Sella has 56 hit points, just 50, barely any to make a move, and if any shots go his way, they need to be far from his tank hole, because even an HE shell, close range, could probably destroy his tank.
Very likely, yeah.
T-32, Crimson Corsair staying in that position.
Shot.
Two teammates.
Looks like Adroxus out in the open.
Cover.
Sella trying to get that connection. It's going to take 2 on to Adroxus. Sella is not able to find an angle, and now I think Simp knows that location. They're going to put 2 tanks on cap with Crimson and Adroxus there. That'll shorten the time that RBIS has to play with this. And Sella will go wide. Gabriel going in, I think. Should be...
Gabriel's up and over.
That could work.
In a matter of moments, 5 seconds left. Gabriel has got to land this shot. T-32 not looking his way. Gets the reset on the right tank. Good shot by Gabriel Angelos. That's going to bring it down to 30 seconds.
And Blue Boys is moving up. In a moment, he'll crest and he will be spotted. Sella can then look for that connection.
or Sella can get the heck out of there as Gabriel Angelos is going to cover his way. Nice shot from Sella from long range against Adroxus. Gabriel Angelos is going to back away. Crimson Corsair misses a shot against Gabriel. Gabriel in the RU-251's trying to move in and get it, but he's focusing on Crimson Corsair. Oh no, he gets a shot against Blue Boys. Takes down the 1390. Now it's the two consistent fire T-32s, and Gabriel Angelos is trying to pull Crimson Corsair towards him, and he falls. Sella, the last hope remaining for RBIS in this battle with 50 hit points left, has got to escape these T-32s, and Crimson Corsair and Adroxus are on the move to get behind this tank and destroy it.
That's all they need, just 20 seconds. One good hit from Crimson or Adroxus, and that's the battle. But phenomenal how Gabriel was able to handle himself in this battle. Making all the right connections, picking the perfect targets. Taking out Blue Boys is crucial. If Blue Boys was alive right now, you'd be looking at a battle likely that SIMP could get it.
2, 1, and Sella does it. RBIS takes the battle against SIMP, tying up the series with 50 hit points left on his tank.
That was crazy, but I have to focus yet again on Gabriel. Gabriel in the RU-251. He is the one who did exactly what was needed. Now, there's not a heck of a lot of connections here, but late in the battle, he was able to do the work necessary. He was able to get the reset on Cap. That gives RBIS time. Next, he gets Blue Boys off the map. The one tank who is fast enough to keep up with the RU-251s and then play the game into that last 10 seconds and still have a chance of getting that connection. Now, Mi Amigo is another player who changed the course of this battle because he somehow miraculously lives through two 1390s on him in an engagement. He deals enough damage to Blue Boys that Blue Boys is now one shot. This comes into play later in the battle. And he distracts him long enough for those two RU-251s to get some distance from the T-32s.
I wonder what the comms were like for SIMP when both these 1390s were engaging against Mi Amigo. I bet Blue Boys was like, hey, I'm going to reload, you take care of him. Guy can't take care of him, whoever his teammate was at the time, and falls. I couldn't tell if it was Absolute Royal or if it was Heavy 20 in the 13. I think it was Heavy 20. The two 1390s went to go chase him.
Yeah, it was Heavy 20 and Blue Boys that were over there. Heavy 20 unable to get the kill that was necessary. Blue Boys, at the time, also unable to get it done. But
well, yeah, he was probably reloading. We just got an update on the I Love Lamp versus Cunningham matchup. It went to a tiebreaker, and I Love Lamp took the series over the Cunninghams.
What?
Cunninghams, the second place team right now in our standings, fell to I Love Lamp in a tiebreaker.
Okay, that's something I'm going to have to go to the Fendi site, download those replays.
Yeah, that's a big upset. Let's go ahead and jump back into this game. Battle number 3 in Pro Heroica. What do we have for tanks?
All right, two T-32s, two 1390s, two RU-251s, T-37. That's RBIS on the attack. They're the red team now. SIMP is now defending the blue. Two T-32s, two 1390s, RU-251, and two M41 Walker Bulldogs. And those are, of course, played by Mac and Fedge, two players who, in previous seasons, played T1s, now in the M41 Walker Bulldogs, which are just better versions of that tank.
Thanks for the tweet, B Sabbath. We hope you really enjoy our betting bot. And if you guys have questions about betting, ask our mods in Twitch chat. They will help you out. Betting begins at the beginning of every single battle here. And the points do matter. Top performers have an opportunity to take home a nice little prize.
It was hard to get used to that the points matter, because all growing up, it was the points don't matter.
That's when you become a grown-up. The points matter when you're a grown-up, I guess.
Did you watch much comedy?
Yes, I totally got the reference.
Okay. For a minute, I couldn't tell.
No, I'm sure the audience gets it as well.
Yeah.
Looking at the opening run from the defenders here, staying close to those train tracks, buying for the more northern side of the train tracks here as the attackers SIMP. Or excuse me, the defenders SIMP. RBS are attackers. SIMP has gone for the railroad tracks. We switched. Battle number 3.
You get used to it. Although with RBIS's blue symbol and SIMP's red symbol,
Yeah, I know,
it
right?
throws you off a little bit.
I know.
I was looking at the very beginning, and it's like, SIMP, it fits their style to just be red. Can they can be the exception team where they're just red no matter what side they're on.
For the audience maybe tuning in, maybe for the first time or first week of tanks, we have the blue side as the defenders, the red team are the attackers. And one shot did ring true against Sella in the T-32, Crimson Corsair and Adroxus. Two battle buddies for life. stay together. Looking for the opening coming from RBIS here. And they're staying way to the west up the one line, while their two T-32s dance back and forth in their hold down positions to land a couple lucky shots against SIMP here.
Yeah, I want to look at the positions of Crimson and Adroxus. These two T-32s are in a lower ground, but aren't exposed to that northwest position. That shots onto pre-cam. That is good spotting, actually. Surprising
Really good
vision.
spotting and really good placement coming from Heavy 20 and Absolute Royal. They shut down Precambrian and that T-37, and now RBIS is even weaker in the north because of that.
Yeah, Absolute Royal and Heavy 20 both have optics, extending their view range by just about 10%, along with, don't forget, the crew skills that they have. So you have rather impressive vision on a 1390 or an RU-251 in the Pro League.
3 minutes and 49 seconds for the attackers to make a move. Still plenty of time for RBIS to do so. Has been halted since they're about 900 hit points lower than SIMP currently with their tanks. And their northwestern approach looks like got shut down. They're heading towards the south.
And we'll see in a minute if RBIS is going to be able to make some kind of engagement or find something. But right now, the distance that SIMP has is such that I don't think you're going to see a real engagement anytime soon, because RBIS just doesn't have anything to work with. They don't have anything. They don't have anything at all. They have no hit point lead. They have no positional lead. They have no crossfires or setups. No reason for their opponent to leave the position. SIMP is sitting pretty.
Pretty indeed, Randall. Pretty indeed. Mac G is pretty far from the rest of his team here down to the south.
Speaking of pretty.
There he is. There's the man who has led the SIMP team to championships and numerous second place wins as well, taking home some cash prize money since season 1. Now he'll be heading towards the northern section here.
Just in time, too. Mi Amigo, Gabriel, Amanda, and Oxmathis all
taking a
moving
shot on
over.
the run for 228. Fez going to fall back in the Walker Bulldog as well. And Mac G trying to get out of the firefight here with the rest of his team's going to swarm towards the flat cap in the center. The two T-32s, Adroxus and Crimson Corsair, have forsaken their hold-down position in the west and are now trying to cross over into the east to deal with this engagement.
Yep. T-32's Carbon and Cell will mirror that. And that's going to push the entire engagement east, which is still in the favor of SIMP. They've got the hit points right now. However, that little bit of a lead has kind of evened up with Mac taking some damage as he was trying to retreat. But Precam is so low right now that one single shell is going to finish him from anything. Mac G or Fed should be able to do that. T-32 is a good RAM, or even an RE-251 connection physically would be enough to kill Precam. He's gonna have to find a sneaky way of using his T-37 to benefit his team in the upcoming engagement.
Well, Adroxus and Crimson Corsair are dancing back and forth a little bit here.
And this is gonna be it. Mi Amigo moving forward. He's in a dangerous position. This is going to force the engagement as he goes up and over right into Adroxus and Crimson.
Fej and Amanda hug and kiss. Fighting it out, Fej wins. The master hugger wins it. Mi Amigo now fighting against Adroxus and Crimson. He falls to Heavy 20. Oxmathis and Sella pushing in against the remainder of the T-32s from SIMP, and they're still holding their ground. 2 tanks destroyed, 3 tanks gone for RBIS. SIMP, all tanks still left alive, but they finally lose their first one in Adroxus. Blue Boys captain from around the corner, focusing on the more northern tanks as Carbon Ward and the T-32s firing into Mac G. Mac G's going to fall back. Fej and the Walker Bulldog, it's not much, but it is something, as he's going to move up and try to get behind Carbon Ward here and continue to fire.
Carbon chasing after Blue, but he's going to take some damage in the back. Oh, Fej going down.
Oxmathis got that quick shot there. There wasn't much left, but Fej was able to weaken the T-32 down to 1 guaranteed shot from Blue Boy's captain as he's going to turn around the corner. Not sure. Looks like he doesn't have any shells left. He's going to have to wait for Heavy 20 to move into 1390. And Heavy 20 is 1 shot away from taking down Carbon Ward here. He's cruising in, and he takes him down, and that's it. SIMP takes battle number 3, leading the series 2-1.
Yeah,
well played.
I think RBIS just wasn't finding that advantage yet again. just one little thing. They didn't come into that engagement with any real leads. They did even up the hit points a little bit, but just a smidge right before that engagement. Nothing went their way, which was unfortunate. And that was cute. Fedge and Amanda hug and kiss. Kind of poetic that they would.
They were right up next to each other as well. A bit of a tank embrace between the two teams. Carbon Ward did a significant amount of damage for RBIS in this upscale, up top position here, firing down into the fray. But what happens is he's going to start to take more damage from Blue Boy's captain. Mac G's going to move into the firefight to see what damage he can do. He notices he's losing tanks. He's going to do a little bit more damage and then fall back. Fej is going to come in. As you see, he's got nothing, right? Barely any hit points. The tank does just a little over 100 damage each shot, but he weakens Carbon Ward and keeps him distracted while, even though he falls, Blue Boy's captain gets the shot and the kill. Or no, Mac G gets a shot and the kill there. Blue Boy's captain, I think, is reloading for most of that time. So it's really good teamwork to keep everybody alive in that scenario.
Yeah, it was good teamwork from Simp. You have to give it to them on that one. It was players understanding when they needed to worry about a threat and when they needed to just ignore it and focus on something else entirely.
And that is a tough choice to make. When to ignore a threat? When is a threat more dangerous? When do you have to deal with that, especially when there's 7 opponents on the battlefield and you're commanding 6?
Yeah, target prioritization.
Yeah. Let's move into battle number 4, final battle we'll see on Pro Rovka between these two teams. What do we have for tanks?
All right, RBIS, T32, 2 1390s, 3 RU251s, and that single T37. That is RBIS, the attacking team in red. In the blue, Simp will have 2 T32s, 2 1390s, Absolute Royal in the RU251, and Mac and Fedge again in those M41s.
Opening movement from the defenders in the blue. We got Mac G and Fedge crossing over to the east side. Blue Boys and Absolute Royal doing the same as Adroxus and Crimson Corsair. Guess what? Staying together in those T32s.
And RBIS on the other side going all east. Ox Mathis leads the way. Sella, some cute driving right behind him, but they are blitzing forward. They may be able to catch Mac or Fedge, or both, completely cut off. But this could work for Simp if they respond appropriately. If they make the proper aggressive response, they will have their opponent completely surrounded.
Well, Heavy 20 is going to go to the north as the T32s will go into the crossroads section of the middle of the map. Well, Heavy 20 is actually going to turn the corner here and not go fully north. They're going to allow Mac G and Fedge to do a little bit of damage, but they're going to be completely cut off. This is a time that they have to punish RBIS for chasing after Mac G and Fedge in this moment. Crimson Corsair takes down Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Now Mi Amigo tries to continue south, but there goes Precam. Another tank down. Gabriel Angela is trying to take on Fedge, but he's down to half hit points, and Fedge is doing a decent job at making him pay for this kill. 99 hit points as Gabriel loads HE and does not connect properly, hitting tracks instead of any kind of solid armor. Finally gets the kill, but at a what cost?
Mi Amigo is able to take down 1. Can he get 2? Looking for the long-range shot against Blue Boy's captain. It's a miss. And at this time, I think Blue Boy's going to have to reload, but Mi Amigo's going to have to reload, but Blue Boy's captain on the run this time for Mi Amigo, but to join the rest of his team. 3 tanks alive still for RBIS, and 4 alive for Simp. Shifting gears over to the other side of the battlefield, Crimson Corsair trying to line up a shot against Gabriel Angelo, so able to hit 1, hits for 2, and look at this overmatch to the north, Randall. It's over for Gabriel.
Completely. Adrox is getting that final kill. Now Crimson Corsair moves in to try and smash Sella. He gets out of the way for just long enough to get blown up.
Blown up, sir. That's what happened to my tank. Mi Amigo, the 1390, the last hope for RBIS on Pro Horovka here. Can't really do much.
No, this was a situation where Simp made an excellent call in this battle, predicted their opponent perfectly, sent Mac and Fedge to the east, which drew attention away from the main focus of RBIS, which was taking control of that entire east side. With that, they were not able to recover properly because there was, what do? What are you going to attempt when you know you're in such a position that you've walked into? You've walked into 3 lanes of potential fire on your tanks. You do not have any high ground. You don't have any real cover. You've got soft cover in bushes and trees, but those don't stop shells.
No, they don't stop shells at all. No. I liked this movement coming from, I like the aggression coming from RBIS here to try to dictate what's happening on the eastern side at least. But you look at the adaptive movement of Simp. They're not going to fully commit to the village because they could lose the low to high ground if somebody takes a hill. They don't know how many tanks have fully committed on the eastern side. And I really liked their tempered, patient positioning as a defense. And you almost saw it too. I think it was Heavy 20 was going to the north away from the T-32s. I'll see you guys later. Then a couple seconds later, I'm back. Guess what? They're attacking. And then they went in that center section. It's that type of mobility and quick thinking and quick reasoning as individual tankers. I don't know if MacG said, all right, regroup and do this. I think it was just happening automatically when they were calling out we're getting attacked.
That's kind of one of those calls that it seems like everyone should know what we're doing. They're attacking the east. Everybody, let's get over to the east because we have cut off people over there. They need support as soon as possible. They're going to be able to do more work and create more value for their individual tanks if there's someone there to support them. That's exactly what needed to happen. It did, and MacG and Fedge were both able to get decent value out of their tanks. I mean, how much damage did they do in that last battle?
Well, you look at just overall the amount of damage being done by Heavy 20 Blue Boys Captain, 1576 by Heavy 20. Blue Boys, 1509. And then after them, it's a Droxus, who was 6 for 6 in his T-32. And then you have the 41 Walker Bulldogs. You have Crimson Corsair and then Absolute Royal, who seem to get shut down pretty fast. But I want to show off Mi Amigo a little bit more here, all right? 6 for 8. Made Blue Boys Captain run away, which is not true. It looked like that because Blue Boys Captain was joining the rest of his team on the other side of the battle. But it's like, we have to run away so we can fight again another day. Well, it was to fight again in an overmatched position on the other side of the map to go for the victory. So it's not necessarily a retreat. But Mi Amigo is showing some good fights coming out of his 1390 so far. I think his reasoning as a player is, man, I wish I had more than 6 shots because then I'd be totally owning right now.
Or he's probably going to the guys like, guys, my back. My back.
Yeah, my shoulders hurt from carrying everybody right now.
Gosh, you need proper form. That's what you need.
Gotta lift with the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta lift with the legs.
All right, now timeout called by RBIS.
Yes.
This is a normal place for that. You're halfway through the series. You are the team that is currently down in points, and you want to kind of slow this down. You want to give yourselves a second to think, second to regroup, and you call that right when the first map ends. So we're going into steps next, which should provide some interesting results because SIMP on steps is looking at 70% win on attack and then 75% wins on defense. Compare that to RBIS, who have only 2 battles on attack, but they've won both of those. And then on defense, RBIS is 2-2. So they've got 50% wins on defense.
Well, you look at the overall map picking. RBIS picked Prohorovka. SIMP attacked first. This is SIMP's choice. Steps and SIMP's attacking first. They're up 3-1, 2 victories away from taking the series, and they're on the attack first. Really advantageous position for SIMP right now. Even if it's another 2 losses, they're going to end the series as the defenders, and they're already ahead. So this is an uphill battle for RBIS. Possible use of Artie here. Well, if we do see Artie, and it's a victory for RBIS, probably the best case scenario of Artie ever used, at least in the WGLNA for 7x54. Battle number 5 is about to begin between SIMP and RBIS. What do we have for tanks?
Well, speaking of Artie, I'll start with SIMP. They're on the attack. Red team, 2 T-32s, 2 1390s, RU-251, and look at it, that's a GW Panther.
You're not reading it wrong. That's true.
Yep, Crimson Corsair is going to play that, and he is a good Artie player. He knows what he's about, and I know he can shoot in that thing. I've experienced it firsthand. He can hit. And I've been on the receiving end, and I've also scouted for that. Good Artie player. We'll see what he can do. M41 Walker Bulldog by Mac.
It's a devastating tank, and we've seen the GW Panther used previously.
Qualifiers.
In the qualifiers, yes.
It was once successful, once not. And aside from that, everyone's opted for lower tier, but the GW Panther is a solid choice. Now, this opening move is highly aggressive. Look at this. Ox Mathis is moving straight south. There's a little bit of a pause, though, as he's going to take 472 in damage. It's going to go up. He may end up going down between Blue Boys and Heavy 20. One more shell finishes him off.
Crimson Corsair waiting for that first shot. Hasn't taken it yet.
And now Sala looks like he will be able to find Crimson Corsair, who's out in the open. That's the whole point of this blitz. 335 from an HE shell, not quite enough to finish him off as he does fire, and it goes right over Sela.
And that's it. That's it for Crimson Corsair. 1 tank down for both sides. 2 tanks now for RBIS, as this has unleashed a bloodthirsty firing of all cannons coming from Simp here in this engagement against RBIS. MacG falling away between Sela. He falls. Mi Amigo still alive, and he gets taken down. T-32s saw to that. 4 against 4 in this brawl. Abrasive and Adroxus are the next targets here, while Heavy 20 and Blue Boys Captain come in to relieve the T-32s from this aggression, focusing on Sela. Heavy 20 takes a hit to the side. Blue Boys Captain gets hit. Not really focusing on one target specifically here from RBIS, but Simp focuses on 2 tanks, and they both fall. 2 remain. Carbon Ward and Amanda hug and kiss.
And he says, I have the high ground.
Gets a 1 tank. Sure. Carbon Ward's almost down in that T-32. Amanda hug and kiss is on the run in that 1390 with 4 minutes and 48 seconds left to go. Plenty of time for Simp to either go for a flag cap or go for the chase.
Now, Amanda, I want to say he's out of it, but there's enough of a chance that I got to give him his credit here.
There's enough of a chance because of 2 things. 1, the burst damage from a 1390.
Precisely.
And 2, the amount of hit points he still has left on his tank.
Exactly. Yes. He's still got 867. He's got a full clip. If Blue Boys makes his mistake and doesn't get enough damage out there, it's going to take 2 shells to kill Blue, and then the rest of that clip for Abrasive or Adroxus. Not either. Or.
Opening move after the devastation of that brawl is going to be dependent on the attackers here, and they're up close to the flag cap of Blue Boys Captain.
Yeah, Blue Boys is going to make his way there. I think they're going to use the T-32s to shield. If they do that, that's Simp reacting appropriately and cutting Amanda's chances of making this happen way down.
Would you have placed Blue Boys Captain on the flag cap already? No, they're not going to pull the trigger yet. Abrasive takes a hit from long range.
2.
And another one. Amanda Huggins trying to get this last T-32, but he misses a 3rd shot.
Okay, that's a reload. He'll click that. And we'll have just enough time to get to cap and stop it. Well, barely, actually. If he reloaded, he's going to have just enough time.
Just enough time where he's going to have to ram damage.
Yes, he will pretty much have to ram damage or make his first connection. If he did not reload, then we're looking at a situation where he doesn't have enough shells to get the kills, but he has enough shells to get the resets, or maybe kill Blue Boys and then get a reset onto Adroxus. However, he'll pay in hit points dearly.
14 seconds left for Amanda Hug and Kiss to get a reset.
He doesn't have time to waste, but he is moving in from a clever direction. I thought Adroxus was almost going to accidentally get off cap for a moment.
No.
And there he's spotted.
All right.
Not going to
Dodges
waste
one
the shot. He's not going to
Dodges
waste.
one shot.
3, 2. What's... I don't... What?
They didn't go for it. Didn't take the shot.
Yeah.
And that's it. Amanda Hug and Kiss can't get the reset.
Yeah, that's why.
Simp takes the victory. That's 4-1. Simp 1 battle away from taking the series.
That was just a weird way to end that
I don't
one.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought he was going to move on in and try and get the kill, but when you just keep driving, I'm sitting there like, did you break your keyboard? Did you...
Take the shot. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Take the shot. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Just keeps going into the mountains. Doesn't look good.
Or take the shot. Sorry, there's a cat on my keyboard. Oh, you know what might have happened? He hit, what is it, R 3 times? And he forgot he hit R 3 times?
That's why I switch my keys. C becomes my cruise control, and R is my reload.
But C is reload.
R is reload.
That makes a lot of sense in a way.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right, again, impeccable movement coming from Simp here, adapting to RBIS's, really trying to sway in slightly or sweep in slightly by getting some overmatches. But these T-32s take such a long time to kill, it allows Blue Boys and Heavy 20 to move in and start further weakening these tanks that took some hits earlier on.
Yeah, Simp was able, RBIS was able to get that swing, that little flank in, because they were able to get Artie there, and then they got 2 kills. That was where the opening happened. If it had happened on the other side, that probably would have been where we saw it, but they took advantage of whatever lead they could. Simp's responses, though, were spot on. They took advantage of the fact their opponent was having to take great risk in order to kill the Artie. If they had left that Artie alive, I'm positive we would have seen the GW Panther just wrecking tanks.
And punishing that risk, too. Because if you don't punish them when they're taking the risk to destroy the Artie, in the end, your enemy just destroyed your eyes and ears of the battlefield that is the power of Artie, and you're down a tank already. It's a massive disadvantage. So I'm really glad that they were able to keep that in their back pocket at all times of as soon as we think that they're going to attack our Artie, we have got to punish them for it. And that's what makes Simp Simp. It really does.
And I think what also helped was the very early kill onto Ox Mathis. Ox Mathis was only able to get out one good shot, and we all know that Ox Mathis is one of the top players for RBIS. They're all excellent, but Ox Mathis has always seemed to stand out every single battle as a damage dealer, as someone who just knows how to play individually, works out in the clutch situations, and keeps his cool. But he went down immediately from good positioning and focus fire from Blue Boys and Heavy 20. The two of them going out to the 0 line at the beginning and finding him. Ox Mathis having 0 escape routes, was caught out in the open and went down. That's an advantage before they were even able to kill the artillery piece.
Yeah, and that's knowing what to do in that clear and present danger. They're coming towards your teammate that's in the backfield in that Artie position. Battle number 6 between RBIS and SIMP. SIMP is up 4-1, one battle away from taking the series. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
All right, we've got a T-32, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and a single T-37 for RBIS, who look to be in the same position to make that same attack as last time. SIMP, on the attack, will bring a T-32, 2 1390s, RU-251, again, Crimson Corsair and the GW Panther, and an M41 Bulldog by Mac G. Now, big question to start this one out is, will RBIS go for that crazy attack again? Will they attempt to blitz their opponent? If they do, can we expect the same result? Possibly. It depends on if Simp's able to get that lead again like they killed Ox Mathis last time. If they can't, the performance of RBIS might result in that victory just by taking out the Artie. But what's the positioning of Crimson Corsair? Are they going to put him in the same spot?
They're sending him further south along the very edge of the no man's road currently. I'm going to watch his position the first couple seconds of the match here, and he's going to turn and actually face his opponent, and they're coming for him again. They want to kill him, and Crimson Corsair thinks he'd be more ready for this.
Yep, shot from Sella, going towards Crimson in just a moment, connects for 214.
Crimson fires, and that does not connect. And now Crimson is so exposed with no cover. I feel like he'd be better if he's next to the rocks.
Nah, he's bait now. Looks like Simp's going to be in a different position, but now the flank's coming from the east with 3 tanks in the middle to kind of hold and pin that position. Veg will go down first.
This is a change coming from RBIS. Instead of swinging all from one side, they're swinging from 2 sides at the same time, and that's starting to pin Simp between the no man's road, which is not much cover at all, and the Eastern Valley, which RBS has control over.
Precam misses some crucial shots. Blue Boy stays alive for a little bit longer.
Mi Amigo from around the corner is able to kill Heavy 20, who's trying to escape. And Carbon Ward takes down Absolute Royal. 2 tanks remain to 4, but Abrasive still in the fight against Carbon Ward. Could get this kill, and he does. 2 against 3.
Yep, now Precam, Mi Amigo, and Amanda Huggins are just running for the hills. Precam, quite literally. And that's going to give us a weird situation. We're looking at an M41 Walker Bulldog and a T-32 versus a T-37 and 2 1390s. A situation which we should be looking at RBIS win, except for the hit points. The 3 tanks left for RBIS, sorry, 2 tanks left for RBIS, are both sitting at 594 and 379 respectively. But the Simp tanks are rather healthy. Abrasive, almost full. Mac G, almost full.
1,000 damage difference between these 2 teams.
But the burst, those 1390s still carry with them so much damage in a short amount of time that if they find Abrasive and they find Mac G, even together, if they play it right, they can win. However, with the amount of hit points, you're looking at a Simp win if they, I think, stand face to face and just shoot it out.
Abrasive and Mac G have enough experience and destroyed tanks under their belts to make this work, and they have time. 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Plenty of it, actually.
Yeah, I definitely have to give the edge to Simp here. I think they can handle this better, but I think if I want to bring up a counterpoint, just a
Sure.
Mi Amigo and Amanda are players that have stood out as
Well, if there's 2 players to remain for RBIS right now against Simp, it's these 2 players.
Yeah. Oh, that or Ox Mathis.
Of course, yeah. The reason why with Amanda Huggins, that his name is Jackie Rudo. It's a name he went by in previous seasons. He fought on the side of Fulcrum Gaming, which became Fnatic, now no longer with us. But they were the main rivals of SIMP. If there's one person that knows SIMP inside and outside that's on RBIS, it's Amanda Hugkiss.
Should be able to predict this. Now, the strategy of SIMP is to send Abrasive first and then follow up with MacG. And as we can see, it's working out. Amanda goes for a shot on Abrasive, but MacG is the one who replies and puts the damage into Amanda. Now Amanda is at 202 hit points. MacG, if he gets the right high roll, I should be able to get the kill, but...
Oh, Amanda's hit for 177, and MacG's going to push in.
Yep. And with that, he's now at 202, which means one hit, maybe two from MacG, but one shell from Abrasive most definitely. And now as he's getting pinched on, he's running out of angles of safety as MacG comes from one direction, does not connect.
Does not connect that shot. One more. Ah, there goes Abrasive. MacG's in a tough spot now. Very low. He's going to turn, try to take down Amanda Hugkiss. He gets it. And Mi Amigo seals the deal, takes down MacG, and RBIS successfully defends against SIMP. Barely.
That's a hard thing to do. Only 2 other battles ever have not gone the way of SIMP on attack. They have an astounding record on this map. Now, before this match, SIMP was sitting at 6 wins and 2 losses for defense on this map, but on attack, it was 7-3. Now they're looking at 8-4, which is more battles than anyone else has on this map.
Sure.
So SIMP is incredibly experienced, and you're seeing that come on out.
And this is a difference that we mentioned of a dual push on 2 flanks rather than on one flank trying to sweep in. And this is what pinned SIMP into each other in a sense. And then they still stayed and fought, and surprisingly whittled it down from 4 tanks to 2. And MacG was able to push up against Pre-Cambrian and take that kill, and later on it was just up to the 2. That T-32 took a lot of damage at 1390, but again, it's either he takes it or MacG dies. So if they made the right decision, just 1390. Mi Amigo did a great job landing his shots.
Yeah, and Mac didn't land all of his shots, which was unfortunate. If he had, you're looking at a different battle. You're looking at a different result. Mi Amigo may not have had the shells appropriate to finish the battle because Amanda Hugkiss going down quite the way he did, because he didn't get 100% accuracy before dying.
True.
He missed a few shells here and there. He didn't have enough damage to just finish it off on his own. A single 1390 can do that, but between the 2 of them, it's much more secure.
Now we move into the next battle here. RBIS hanging by a thread against SIMP. Tables are going to turn. SIMP defending, RBIS attacking. If there's one time to bring out the craziest blitz card that we've ever seen, it is right now.
But we just saw 2 pretty crazy blitz cards played.
From an attacker's side, and we saw some crazy blitz from the defender's side for RBIS, at least on Pro Rovka. But now they have to do it in a different sense as the attackers.
Okay, fair enough, but
right.
I feel like that's more appropriate in a way. Is it not?
Yes, it goes. There's a line of craziness, and it's crossed that line, yes. But now we need to stay within the realm of craziness for the attackers, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
I completely disagree.
Okay.
Craziness, go for it.
All right. Well, maybe desperation, maybe craziness, maybe new meta. Whatever it is, they need to do it against SIMP right now, who's up 4-2. What do we have for tanks?
All right. That's not a crazy lineup at all. This is pretty good. Okay. RBIS, 3 T-32s. Sorry, actually, wait, we are crazy. 3 T-32s. Wow. 2 1390s, 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. That's RBIS. That's a heavy lineup. Other side, SIMP has brought 2 Pershings, not 2 T-32s. 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and Mac, of course, being in his T-37, as always, as can be expected.
3 T-32s as the defenders.
That's a lot of hit points.
That's a lot of hit points. It really is.
But 3 as the attackers? We're past that line of crazy, Josh.
We're past that line of crazy.
We're into a dangerous zone.
I gotta stop making these lines in the sand of craziness, because people will just be habitually crazy because they'll keep crossing those lines.
RBIS is habitually crazy. It's what they do.
Yeah.
It's how they operate.
Well, as the attackers, it is a lot of hit points. To me, it makes more sense having 3 T-32s, which is a little bit too exuberant when it comes to the tank with no cons.
We know you're a fan.
We all know. We've gotten past those jokes. It makes more sense to me as a defender, and they're slow, and to outmaneuver these 1390s that can get behind these T-32s and destroy them. Two 1390s get behind one T-32, and it's going to melt pretty fast.
But if you just bully your opponent out of their position, Simp's going to be forced to leave. They cannot stand up to 3 T-32s just coming right at them, especially if they make the angles work. Simp has to leave. They have to retreat, and they have to find good distance and a crossfire on their opponent where they're exposed. That's not going to happen in these hills where T-32s thrive. Hold down positions, a place to angle your armor. T-32s do great. Sela just bounced a shot. Example, right there. And now they're going to be able to move in on the cap with... Oh, wow, Gabriel is looking at a dangerous situation. He's going to meet Blue Boy's captain.
And there's one shot for 239 damage, and another shot right over Blue Boys to get the hit against Gabriel. Gabriel, great teamwork here. That's going to shut down at least one tank, but does not destroy him yet.
Oh, and now Gabriel will be in the backfield. He'll be able to put shells into various tanks from Simp as they approach the cap. Doesn't matter that he's taken some damage. Unless Mac decides to cut him off, that would be a strong play.
Mi Amigo is almost at half health here. So he's getting lit up by Crimson Corsair and Adroxus. More shots fired into the center.
And look at that, Blue Boy's coming around the flank. He could be the one that changes this battle if he's able to just wipe out a T-32 with one of his clips.
Still more shots coming from the attackers to try to head off the 26 Pershing and Adroxus or Absolute Royal at 251. No dice yet. Now both the T-32s will leave the flag cap.
Shots fired, Blue Boys putting it into Amanda Hugging Kiss just as the T-32s are getting over the hill. So Blue Boy's hesitation has kind of cut him off from dealing as much damage as he would like. This very nice for RBIS. As they are down on hit points right now, but they're slowly beginning to come back. You're watching that 7,300 hit points slowly start to dwindle down to 7,000, and the armor of all of these T-32s working out very well for RBIS.
And look at Simp using the terrain in their favor, getting behind the T-32 when they're not in danger from the sweeping RBIS. The attackers had only one tank in their sights and not the dangerous tanks trying to take down their teammate. And they start to fall one by one by one. 4 tanks remain for RBIS.
And now some crucial bounces from various tanks on RBIS is going to slow their momentum to almost a halt, as these T-32s, Carbon and Amanda, are not going to be able to hold this against 2 1390s and 2 RU-251s.
Amanda and Carbon Ward are the last tanks alive for the defenders, the last hope for RBIS to stay in this series. But this is it. Fej looking to get that kill. Actually misses. It's an already dead tank here, and he's going to try to leave Carbon Ward's presence.
Oh, nice bounces, actually. T-32 staying alive a little bit longer.
Carbon Ward gets the kill, but in the end, Absolute Royal takes the final shot, and they take the series 5-2. Simp wins it. RBIS showed a good fight, but could not adapt to what Simp was bringing to the battlefield.
I choose another perspective. I think Simp handled themselves very well.
Yeah.
So when they were on the attack, they brought an artillery piece. They recognized that there was the possibility their opponent would blitz them in response. And I loved the way that they were able to handle it, stay cool, even though they were going to be down an entire tank, because the Arty wasn't able to deal much damage in either battle. Just went down, wasn't able to do the work, and they were able to make that up with damage, even down a tank to start the battle.
Yeah, they played it very, very cool. Very cool. And I have to give them a lot of kudos for it, too, because as the attackers bring in Arty piece, I think, is this an insult to RBIS? And I don't mean like a mean way, but more of like, we're going to win this. We got this kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going.
But that was not, I got zero vibes from that. To me, that was not the case. It was, we're bringing the Panther, we're going to attack you in this position, and we're going to make this work. Oh, you're sweeping in to try to attack our Arty? You're focusing on this one piece? Well, the rest of our team, these 6 other tanks are going to sweep in and get you. It worked once, but it didn't work twice.
Yeah, it reminds me of trying to deal with Arty back before the great Arty nerf. There was that period when Arty was lower tiered,
Years
and so
ago.
was valued differently in pro format, so it was brought more often. The way that one method of dealing with Arty isn't necessarily to just rush it and kill it. There's also avoiding it. Simply finding angles at which the Arty can't connect it with you by identifying where that Arty is, and then fighting your opponent from there. Effectively removing it from the battlefield, but can be slightly more difficult because 1, you have to identify where the Arty is, and then 2, you have to actually manage to have every single player on your team not be exposed to that by being, one, close enough to your opponent so that the RD is firing more directly at the tank, and then finding the right cover, which can, of course, be kind of sparse.
And that's map knowledge, that's map terrain, and Simp showed that in that final engagement. For it to go down in that Eastern Defilade, great play by Simp, and a nice little vengeance play coming out of Simp compared to what happened last season against RBIS. So that is it for our second matchup. Our next match is going to be Roulette versus Fun Gaming. After this, stay tuned.